on a nice Monday evening. A warm day outside today, huh? Don't have a current temperature for you. We'll get that a little bit later. Right now, my guest in the studio is Jerry, who is a songwriter and a working man, and a composer and a singer. Let's talk about how you write songs. How do you sit down and just write out a song? Do you memorize them and not write them out? How do you go about composing?
Once in a while, I'll be driving, I'll be walking, and with the beat that I walk, with my steps, something will come across, maybe a few lines, and I'll keep running those lines in my head so I can remember them, so I can get a piece of paper, and then I write them down. Usually, like when I'm working, I drive a van, a serviceman, and I drive a van around, and I'll write the words down, and then when I get home, I'll get to my guitar, and I'll start working on them. And I feel that when the Lord isn't blessing a song, it won't continue. The song won't continue. It'll just stop, and I'll just throw that away. And I feel that if the Lord is blessing a song, it'll just keep going.
Interesting.
It might take an hour. Yeah. But sometimes it takes a couple of days if I really feel that the Lord, is behind this song.
How long does it usually take you to write a song?
The longest, about 2 months. And the reason that took so long was because I just felt that this was going to go somewhere. That it would be a really good song to sing. Yeah. And
you wanted to give it extra effort.
Yeah, I wanted to give it a little extra effort. A lot of times my songs end up being the same kind of rhythm, or maybe the same kind of chord changes. All the words are different, but maybe it's the same kind of style song. So I want to take a little extra time to make a different rhythm, right? Yeah.
How do you come up with lyrics? Do you rely totally on scripture, or do you just pick out words that fit well together?
Sometimes,
the Lord?
Yeah. Sometimes it's something that maybe somebody might say, or like one time when I wrote my third song was "Peaceful Were His Ways," and I get a lot of requests for that, and where I sing, not up everywhere else. But
nobody else has heard it. It might be a great song.
Yeah. Well, I think the Lord's really blessed it, and that song. I think somebody just said "Peaceful Were His Ways," or something like that, and I just thought, wow, peaceful were His ways. My mother had written me a letter, and in it she'd had some Bible verses, and the way they just went together, and I thought, wow, that could be a really good song. So I wrote it out, and I thought, this is really a good song. So that's one way that I've written songs.
Neat.
Sometimes I'll just sit down and say, I'm going to write a song because I might feel I'm getting behind or something. How
does that work? Does that work better?
It depends. If the Lord really wants me to write a song, it'll come. And like my most recent one, The Greatest Thing, it's called The Greatest Thing. I just sat down and I said, I want to write a song, and the Lord really blessed it. So that's one of them that I just sat down and said, I'm going to write a song.
Do you sit down with a piece of paper in front of you, if you have your mind set on it? Sit down with a piece of paper in front of you. You have a title in mind. Write the title out, and then write the song. How does that come?
Well,
okay. What comes first?
I don't know. Sometimes, like I'll write a title, and maybe that's not going to be the title of the song. Like on The Greatest Thing, I was going to entitle it "I Have Loved and Love Living," but it ended up to be the greatest. It ended up to be called The Greatest Thing. So it changes. Sometimes it's just music. Sometimes I'll just a few chord arrangements, and I say, wow, that really sounds far out. And then
I'll words to it.
Yeah, and then I'll put words to it.
So what's easiest to come to you? Words to put to music, or music to put to words?
Words put to music.
Yeah, then you just add music to whatever music fits to words. That makes more sense to me, because if you have music that you like written down, you might have to skip on words or improvise, and you have a revised version of what you really want.
Yeah, a friend of mine that went into the Navy with me, he's written quite a few songs. He's not he just writes them for me. He writes a few songs for me that I'd like to sing. And we had a friend about 3 years ago that died, and I wanted to write a song about him, and he wanted to write a song about him. He'd never written a song about anybody. He'd never written a song at all. And so we, over the weekend, after we heard about his death, we jotted words down, and we brought them to each other, and his words just flowed, and they were from the Lord, And so I took those words, and he said, well, you know, I don't know really anything about music. Why don't you put music to them? So I put music to it, and it's called Coming to Me, and it's...
I'd like to talk about how you what you do in concert when you sing in front of people, and how you present your music, and what you'd like to do. Okay, we'll do that after this.